Sometime in the dead hush between despair and dawn, Clara Morgan pushed open the warped doors of the abandoned Riverside Hotel, her heartbeat echoing like footsteps across the ruined lobby. Rain dripped through holes in the ceiling. Dust drifted through cold beams of moonlight. Her 3 children huddled behind her, shivering, exhausted, waiting for a miracle she wasn't sure she could deliver. But Clara didn't pause. She stepped deeper into the darkness, her flashlight trembling in her hand as she imagined this collapsing giant transformed into the one thing her family needed most: shelter. She had only $950 left to her name, barely enough for bus fare and school lunches. Yet here she was, staring at a rotting fortress everyone else called cursed. She'd been a diner manager, a mother, a survivor. Now she was about to gamble everything on a building no one wanted. And she didn't know that beneath a single loose floorboard upstairs, something waited. Something that would drag her life out of the shadows and into a future brighter than she had ever dared to imagine. On that storm-soaked night, Clara led her children through the lobby as the wind whispered through broken windows. Sophie coughed softly, clutching her brother's hands while Clara checked every floorboard with the carefulness of a woman who had nothing left to lose. The hotel's grand staircase rose like a spine through the gloom, its carved banister draped in cobwebs. Rooms stretched into darkness on both sides, their doors hanging open like mouths mid-scream. Yet Clara felt something here, potential beneath the rot, salvation beneath the ruin. For months she'd fought homelessness, sleeping in a cold mechanic's garage while working odd jobs, praying her kids wouldn't freeze or starve. Now, walking these shattered hallways, she felt the first spark of hope since the eviction notice taped to her apartment door. It wasn't beauty she saw, it was possibility. 42 rooms, thick walls, a roof that could be repaired. A place she could mold back into life. And when the children asked if this might be their new home, Clara whispered yes, even as her heart pounded with fear at the cost of that promise. Within a week, the impossible happened. Clara bought the hotel for $700. No one believed she could repair it. The county clerk warned her. Neighbors whispered. Even the newspaper questioned her sanity. But each insult strengthened her resolve. Every morning she scrubbed until her knuckles bled, scraping decades of grime from walls and sweeping mountains of debris into trash bags. After school, Sophie and Jake joined her, their small hands patching, painting, and carrying tools. Little Marcus held the lantern or fetched supplies, his wide eyes slowly losing their fear. They cleaned the old manager's office first, turning it into a bare but safe room where they could sleep in thrift store sleeping bags, warmed by a camping stove. Clara rationed the remaining $250 with surgical precision, food first, then school supplies, then cleaning materials. Progress was slow, exhausting, endless, but each repaired corner sparked pride she had not felt in years. No matter how cold the nights, no matter how many times the roof leaked, Clara refused to give up. For the first time in months, her children slept without shivering. For the first time in months, she dared to dream beyond tomorrow. Then came the night that changed everything. As Clara worked alone on the second floor, she noticed room 12 had a suspiciously hollow creak beneath the radiator. At first she ignored it. Old buildings make strange noises. But the sound lingered, nudging her curiosity until she returned after the children slept. Kneeling on the dusty floor, she pried up the plank with Frank's battered hammer. Underneath lay a tin box coated in dust thick enough to belong to another lifetime. Her breath caught as she opened it and found papers covered in ornate stamps, bank seals, signatures from the 1930s. A letter addressed to a woman named Margaret spoke of Depression-era bank collapses, a hidden safety deposit box, and $240,000 in gold certificates stored in Box 47 at First National Bank. Clara froze. Gold certificates, securities, bonds. Her hands shook violently as she counted them, years-old wealth, untouched, forgotten. She spent the night reading, researching, realizing the value could be extraordinary. But hope, she knew, was a dangerous thing. She had been crushed by hope before. So she did the only thing she could. She took the documents to the bank. The bank manager's office felt like another world, quiet, warm, dignified, unlike anything Clara had known for months. Yet as she handed over the brittle papers, she was certain they would laugh, call them worthless relics, dismiss her entirely. Instead, the manager's expression sharpened from polite interest to astonished seriousness. The records matched. The key matched. The sealed box had been waiting for nearly a century. When they opened it in the vow, Clara leaned against the table to stay upright. Dozens of certificates lay inside, gold certificates, bearer bonds, land deeds, assets preserved through time, untouched by any heir. The bank estimated their modern value between $8 and $12 million. Clara choked on air. This wasn't luck. This wasn't chance. This was life shifting beneath her feet, rewriting itself in real time. But there were legal steps, descendants to locate, claims to verify. Clara didn't celebrate. She didn't scream. She simply breathed for the first time in months, trembling at the possibility that her nightmare might finally end. Weeks passed with investigators tracing the Whitmore bloodline across states. Clara kept quiet, fearing the dream would dissolve. She still scrubbed floors, cooked pasta on the camping stove, and tucked her children into sleeping bags. Reporters came. Rumors spread. The town watched with equal parts envy and awe. When the bank finally contacted all three surviving heirs, something unexpected happened. Every one of them declined their claim. They said the fortune belonged with the hotel, with the woman who had saved it, with the family who needed it. Clara cried when she heard, not from greed, but relief so powerful it buckled her knees. The court ruling came soon after. Clara Morgan was the rightful owner of everything in Box 47. Over the next months, the assets were processed, redeemed, or sold until the final tally was confirmed. $9.4 million. Money powerful enough to rebuild a life. Money strong enough to rewrite a family's future. Money she never imagined she would touch. But Clara didn't buy luxury. She didn't chase status. She went back to the hotel, the building that had sheltered her when she had nothing, and she began to rebuild it from the ground up. The restoration took over a year, transforming the once cursed ruin into a warm, thriving pillar of the community. Craftsmen restored the ballroom's hardwood floors. Electricians rewired every room. Masons repaired crumbling bricks. Clara oversaw everything, insisting the hotel honor its history. When it was done, the Riverside Hotel stood taller and prouder than it had in a century. The first floor became a community center where families gathered, learned, healed. The second floor offered affordable housing for people like Clara, those one stroke of bad luck away from losing everything. Clara and her children moved into the third floor, filling it with laughter and warm light. She started a foundation for single parents and homeless families. She helped others the way she once prayed someone would help her. And the town that once doubted her now told her story like folklore, a story of resilience, hope, and the stubborn human spirit refusing to die. The hotel was no longer haunted. It was alive again. Years later, Clara stood in the hotel's grand ballroom during a community celebration, watching neighbors dance under restored chandeliers. Sophie brought her a handmade picture of the hotel surrounded by the words home, hope, courage, dreams. Clara held her children and realized the real treasure wasn't the certificates or bonds. It was the moment she stepped into that decaying lobby with nothing but desperation and will. It was the choice to pry up a floorboard instead of giving up. It was the decision to share her blessings rather than hoard them. The Riverside Hotel had been waiting for someone brave enough to save it, and she had been waiting for something to save her. Sometimes the universe hides miracles under dust and broken boards, revealing them only to those willing to look deeper. Clara had looked. She had fought. And because of that, countless lives were changed forever. Thank you for listening to this powerful story of resilience and hope. If it moved you, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. It truly helps more than you know. And before you go, tell me, where are you listening from and what time is it where you are right now?